season now. Oh, hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to It's the Big One, episode 20 of the MastoCast, hosted by yours truly, MastoDan. How are you doing? Hope you are doing very, very well. Thank you for tuning in on the 20th episode. It's mad that I've got to 20. I thought I was going to do 3 or 4 episodes of this podcast, get bored of it, and no one would listen. But lo and behold, people are still listening to it. People are still sending questions and stuff, and I'm enjoying it. So here we are, the Big 20, the Big 20. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend if you listen to this the day it comes out on the Friday. And thank you anybody who's listened to any of the previous episodes that we have had. Yeah, I'm just over the moon. I'm just very, very happy. I really, really am. I'm not happy with this cold weather though. I wish I was still back in Rhodes. Not gonna lie. It's fucking freezing. It's fucking freezing. Sorry for swearing, a lot of the swearing, but like, yeah, I guess I just miss being on holiday. I really do. I've got the holiday blues. I've just been looking through all of the footage and stuff from the GoPro and from the camera and all that on the PC, and it just all looks very, very lovely, and that's where I'm getting my holiday blues from. So yeah. Anyways, enough about my holiday. Hope you've had a good Halloween as well. Yeah, good old Halloween. Hope you got dressed up, suited and booted or whatever. Looked scary and got drunk or partied or whatever. I didn't get to. I was at work, which sucked. So, like, the Saturday night of Halloween, like, I had to work a night shift. I couldn't do it. I was gutted, really. And yeah, it was quite unfortunate. So, like, I stayed in on Halloween, like, on October 31st, like, on the night. I had a fuck ton of trick-or-treaters. Like, loads of them. And, still got some sweets left. Still got some sweeties left. But we needed to get, like, another box of sweets. Otherwise, it would have been gone. Because we had loads of trick-or-treaters. And, yeah, some of them were funny. One of them said Merry Christmas at the door. And I was like, you really are a funny fucker, aren't you? That did make me laugh. That did really make me laugh. But yeah, I was literally just sat in at home. I was playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Which I am absolutely loving at the moment. It's brilliant. It's absolutely awesome. One of my favourite games of the year, definitely. It's absolutely awesome. It's brilliant. Good to play a 2D Mario again. So I was just playing that literally all night, while Haley, the fiance, was at work, and I was just sat playing Super Mario, listening to Typo Negative, and Abigail by King Diamond. Like, basically listening to my Halloween albums, and like waiting for the trick-or-treaters, giving them their sweets, and just playing Super Mario. So that was my Halloween. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. It was canny. But yeah, I did that. Watched a couple of horror movies over the Halloween period. Watched Tusk. That was hilarious. I might have mentioned it before. Tusk was great. Watched a really bad one, The Haunting of, what was it, Pendleville? That was pretty bad. That wasn't really great. Because me and Haley were picking back and forth which ones to watch. I've got it on my Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd if you want, or don't. Don't blame me if you don't. Let's see, where is it at? The Haunting of Pendle Hill. Rubbish. Don't bother. Tusk I really enjoyed though. Talk to Me though, which has just been put on Netflix, and that was great. Really, really great. I know the film came out earlier this year, and I've heard the buzz about it, so I thought I'd give it a go. I'm not really massively pleased by horror movies in this day and age. Like, there's not out of 10 of them, there'll be one good one a year, for me. But Talk to Me was really, really great. Really recommend that to you. Genuine parts that really, really freaked me out, and that quite disturbing, quite shocking in some places. But yeah, really, really great movie. And after that, we watched There's Someone in Your House. No, sorry, There's Someone Inside Your House, which was a bit mid, really. It was okay. More of a teen scream type thing, as it is catalogued on Netflix. But yeah, that was it, basically. All the horror movies I watched over the Halloween month. That's what I got up to. And yeah, that's it, basically. Yeah, that is it. That is it. Anyways, we are here now, episode 20 of the MastoCast. I feel like it's a decent enough milestone. Every week, every Friday, there's been a podcast. I've not missed a week. I missed a day, though. I do tell a lie. I think one of them had to be a Saturday for some reason. But, I've got... Here we are at episode 20. So thank you, everyone who's listened to all of them. And just kept the interest going. But yeah, episode 20. So I thought I'd do a big one. My episode 20 is going to be my top 20 video games of all time. As I mentioned on the last episode, if you listen to that, I was actually really tired when I recorded that episode, and out the blue I just saw one, next week, top 20 video games, and here it is. So I thought, let's do it. Let's crack it. Let's crack the whip on video games. None of that made sense at all. None of it made any fucking sense. But here we are. Anyways, top 20 video games. I think I'm getting a bit of a cold as well, because of it's very cold and shit. Don't like it. Do not like it. But I've got my top 20 games right here. It's in a note file on my phone. If you're like me, I love lists. Bloody love lists. Got lists for all sorts. Got lists for my favourite bands, as I've done with Jake before. Got lists of my favourite albums, my favourite games, my favourite movies, my favourite food, etc., etc. I love lists. I bloody love them. So, what I've done here for the top 20 games, on this one, I've decided to go with one rule, okay? And that rule is only one game per franchise. So, like, for example, like, trying to think of it, like, say if I wanted Ratchet and Clank in my top 20, it isn't, even though I do like Ratchet and Clank. But say if I really liked the first three that much that they'd be in the top 20, I would have to pick which one I like the most, and that would stay in. So, yeah, there's a few games from certain franchises that I would have more than one entry from their franchise, but I'm sticking to this. I'm sticking to this one. I'm sticking to this rule, and I'm gonna go for it. So, what I'll do is I'll talk about the first 10, so 20 to 11. I'll mention them briefly, because I feel like if I go ham on all 20, we'll be here for a long, long time. So I thought I'll briefly go over the bottom 10 and the top 10. Like, I will properly talk about them, tell you my thoughts and my feelings towards them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, also, I've reached out to a lot of you on the Discord and on the Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. And I basically said, instead of questions, I just want to know what your top 3 video games are. So thanks to everyone who's sent your top 3. I'll get them out at the end of the list. So, anyways, without further ado, to do. Here is the top 20 video games of all time by MastoDan. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That made my throat really dry. And it made me cough. I just had a sip of tea there as well. So, anyways, my number 20 on the list is God of War Ragnarok. Played that earlier this year. My first PS5 game, technically. Really enjoyed God of War Ragnarok. I think I like it more than the reboot. Definitely I do. And, yeah, it's one of those franchises that I wish I started a long time ago. But God of War Ragnarok, really, really happy to get into it. Beautiful looking game. Love all the characters. And, yeah, I think it definitely deserves to be in number 20. Number 19, Command & Conquer's Red Alert, which is a childhood favourite of mine. And I used to play it a lot on the PC when I was a little kid. Like, basically a lot of the Command & Conquer games, like Tiberius Sun, the OG Command & Conquer and Red Alert. But Red Alert was always the ones that stood out for me. Just loved all that strategic war stuff. It was really, really cool. Loved doing all the skirmishes and everything. And there's a remaster you can play on Steam, and it's great. Number 18, Tony Hawk's Underground. I've gone for Underground. I love the majority of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. I go with Underground mainly because there's like a bit of a campaign. There's a bit of humour in it. Like, you generally feel like you're part of the game. Like, I obviously love 1 to 4, but they're more like skill based, like point based, point building up and all that. You gotta, you're just going through different different parks and do different challenges, and that's about it. But with Underground, you got a bit of a campaign on it, and and there's some voice acting from like Bam Margera and Tony Hawk and that lot. And for me, Underground does it. Underground's absolutely awesome. That would be one I'd love to stream, actually. Number 17, Abe's Odyssey. Abe's Odyssey is Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey is a pain in my ass. And yeah, this is one I streamed. I love the game. I love the humour. You got to be very, very strategic about it. And you've got to save a lot of Moodokins. Otherwise, you get a bad ending, which is what I got. It takes a lot of patience. To be fair, I've never actually played Oddworld Abe's Exodus. Apparently, that one's supposed to be better. A bit less tedious, and you don't have to, cry for a save path or whatever. Because I did a lot of save states on that game. But I love that game. It's great. It's a childhood gem for me. And yeah, just love Abe's Odyssey. And speaking of games that are a pain in my ass, my number 16, Elden Ring. Yes, Elden Ring, which came out last year. I put over 100 hours into that game. It is one of the most spectacular looking games I've ever seen. As hard as it is, as much of a ball ache it is to play through, especially coming from someone who's never played any Dark Souls or Bloodborne games or anything like that, all that From Software stuff. Like, I couldn't help but pick it up just because of how much the reviewers were raving about it and how amazing it looked. And, like, it definitely exceeded my expectations. Like, it's a game that I do go back to every now and then and discover something new and just love playing. So yeah, Elden Ring. A lot of people have gone on about it. I don't need to go about it anymore. Elden Ring fucking rules. Number 15. I've not played it in a while, but I know it's definitely an incredible game. And it's my favourite of the franchise. Gears of War 3. Gears of War 3, just, for me, is perfection out of that franchise. Like, the best characters you can ask for to play. So good that I've not even bothered with like any other Gears of War's post 3, just because everyone that you've got from the first 3 are there, and some of them, are gone midpoint. Spoiler, I won't say who though, but like when that part happens, fucking hell, emotional. Emotional. It is a very, very sad game at a point, but it is brilliant. It's absolutely awesome. Brilliant online. Had a lot of time playing it, like in college, and just an incredible story. I love Gears of War 3, and it's due a replay. I know I streamed the first one not long ago because it was on Game Pass and you could play it on PC. But I can't do Gears of War 2 or Gears of War 3, which is a bit naff. I've got an Xbox One, so I can do with them, but I couldn't stream them. Anyways, sorry. Oh God. Sorry. I think I have got a cold now. Crap. Number 14. Pokemon Sapphire / Ruby / Emerald. For me, my favourite of the Pokemon franchise, of every Pokemon game. Full stop. The Game Boy games of Pokemon are my favourite, and I think are the best. And I think they just reached absolute perfection with Sapphire and Ruby. Just graphically, it looked amazingly awesome. The music was just so memorable and so brilliant. For me, it capped the amount of Pokemon that I want to catch. Like, I'm at a point now where I just don't know what Pokemon are what now, because I'm just like so far behind. But with Sapphire and Ruby, I'm at a point now where I'm like, yeah, I know all these Pokemon. I don't need to know any more evolutions after that. Just, sorry, I'm sniffling again. But it's just great. It's just awesome. The music is brilliant. All the Pokemons are great. I love the map. I love the actual Pokemons that you start off with. It's awesome. It's just awesome. I spent a lot of time on that when I was younger, and I've replayed it a couple of times as well. Got to the point where I caught them all, and yeah, it's been a long time since I played it, generally, but yeah, I never forget the memories I have of that game. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. My number 13, Rock Band, baby. No specific number really. I just feel like Rock Band was, I don't know, nicer to play than Guitar Hero. I just got on with it a lot more. With Rock Band, I was able to learn drums off that, and I spent a lot of time playing Rock Band in the loft at my old parents' house, and just banging away on the drums, and I learned a lot from it, just from that video game. Like, someone who started off as a guitar player, like, I didn't expect to be better on the drums, because, like, on Guitar Hero, generally, or the Rock Band guitar, I kind of suck, really. I'm not really that great. But the drums, like, because you do work on your rhythm and everything, and, like, some of it is similar to how you would play it on an actual drum kit. Like, it just worked really, really well for me. And I spent so much time, and I got DLCs and everything. And I think I played Rock Band all the way up to 4. It was just the greatest. I really hope there's, like, a resurgence in, like, Rock Band or Guitar Hero. I know there's, like, some rumours, like, going around, but who knows? Who knows? It would be great. It would be absolutely great. Number 12, an absolutely iconic franchise. Crash Bandicoot 3, Warped. This is the best Crash Bandicoot ever. I love it. I've replayed this game God knows how many times. The OG version or the Insane Trilogy. I'd probably say the Insane Trilogy is probably the definitive way to play the game. The OG is still great. It's absolutely still great. Like, it's aged perfectly well. But the Insane Trilogy is just a little bit better graphics and all that. And yeah, the 3 is just, for me, I just love all the levels. I love all the boss fights. I think it's just a slightly better story, a bit more interesting. And it's a little bit easier than 1 and 2. I know it's way easier than 1, but yeah, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, legendary title, absolutely legendary title. And my number 11 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I mean, I've been playing it recently on the Definitive Edition, doing the trilogy, the remaster. I actually rage quit it last week because I've gone to a point now on GTA San Andreas where you go back to Los Santos and a whole riot goes off. And when that game is as glitchy as it is, during a riot, it's hard to play. And like you're trying to like get your own gang taps and stuff like that. It was hard. So I just kept dying all the time. So I rage quit. But leading up to that though, that game is just absolutely incredible. It's my favorite of the Grand Theft Auto franchise, probably just by a small margin. I absolutely love GTA 5. It's an incredible game, but something about San Andreas, I don't know. I just love coming back to it, the soundtrack and everything. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love it. I love GTA San Andreas. So now, that is the 20 to 11. All listed off for you very briefly. It's time to get into the top 10 of it all. The top 10 of it all. And don't forget, after the top 10, I'm going to look at all your top 3s and shout them out for you. And there's some good ones. There's some good ones in here. So bear with me on this one as I talk about some of my favourite games ever. So, my number 10, starting from 10 to 1. My number 10 is Halo 3. Halo 3 was the first game that I got for the Xbox 360. Me and my brother, we both shared the same gamer tag. And something about Halo 3 is just really, really special when I come back to it. I get so much nostalgia playing that game. Like, I must have put hundreds of hours playing Halo 3. It was just the best time. Rock up home after going to work? Fucking hell. After going to school, go online and kick some ass on Halo 3. It was just the best. It was just absolutely the best. Like, that was for me my real introduction into online gaming. I did do a little bit of on the PlayStation 2. Like, I did a little bit of online play with Twisted Metal Black Online, but that didn't really last long. It wasn't great. But, like, getting into Halo 3 for the first time online, it just completely sucked me in. And I would be on it nearly every day, playing online, whether I was good or not. Like, trying to, 1000G the game, get all of the achievements, which me and my brother worked on, and we did do that. We got the DLCs, we got the lot, expanded maps, and on top of that, the story is just absolutely amazing. I love Halo 3 so much, and that is destined for a replay. I have replayed Halo 3 a few times back in the day, but it's probably been over a decade since I last played the campaign. Like, I have played Halo 3 more recently, like online and stuff, and I am really bad at it now these days. But like, I just find Halo 3 to be the most iconic of the lot. Just incredible. And I've only played Halo up to 4. Like, I remember 4 being great. Obviously 1 and 2 are classics. But for me, Halo 3 is just like, they perfected it with it. The best story. The best online multiplayer game for me. I absolutely love it. Like, it was just the game that I spent the most time online. I think even more than any Call of Duty that has ever been out or anything like that. Just for me, it was the best. It was the absolute best. Halo 3 is just a GOAT Xbox classic for me. I absolutely love it. So, yeah. Halo 3 is sitting at number 10. I love it. I love Master Chief. A really iconic character, iconic voice, a lot of it. And yeah, an amazing story. I love it. I absolutely love Halo 3. And it's just, it's a testament to how good it is that so many people still play it online. There's a lot of people still play it online. It's on Game Pass. People still play it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. All right, now. Number 9. Number 9 comes from a franchise I absolutely hold dearly to my heart, because I've been playing this franchise ever since I was a wee bairn, and I still play it today with some of its newer games that have come out over time. Because the Resident Evil franchise has been something I loved watching my dad and one of my uncles play to death. Like, because I was too young to play it, I just watched them, and it was just a game that I absolutely loved. When it got round to the time for me to play it, I really, really played a lot of Resident Evil back in the day, particularly the first 3, and it dipped a little bit in the middle of its career. I mean, Resident Evil 4, when that came out, I enjoyed that. It was great. Then it hit like a midpoint of 5 and 6, which I just did not like at all. And there was a bunch of side games that came out and everything, and had an amazing comeback with 7 Biohazard and 8 Village, and the remakes that have came out and everything. And for me, the best of the bunch of all these Resident Evils, it's got to be Resident Evil 3. The original Resident Evil 3. I absolutely love this game. I streamed it. I've played through it a good few times back in the day. Everything about that game, just absolutely awesome. I love Resident Evil 2, and believe me, it was hard for me to pick between 2 and 3. But for some reason, 3 just has its hooks in me. Something about the music, I just find it a bit more horrifying. And I just love that you're returning to the Raccoon City Police Department. And for me, Nemesis as a baddie, I find scarier than anything else that's in that game. It's hard. It's a great game. It's quite short and sweet. I mean, especially the remake, right? The remake's 5 hours long, but I love Resident Evil 3, and I know a lot of people tend to go for 2 over 3, but for me, 3 is just, as I've said of a lot of games in this list, obviously perfection. For me, the mechanics and everything, the way it controls, even now to this day, just feels really, really nice. And Jill Valentine is an absolute badass. There's some really, really cool cinematic moments happening in the game. There's some moments where you have to choose a path, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. I still find the game pretty dark and dank, with some really amazing rendered backgrounds and stuff. The fact you could actually go outside as well is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. I love Resident Evil 3. It's my favourite. It's my absolute favourite. I think it might be one of the reasons why I haven't gone to the remake. It's just how can you top the OG? I mean, especially hearing the reviews about saying it's too short and stuff like that. I just didn't want to pay a full price for it. I might pick it up at CX at some point and give it a go, but at the moment, whilst I've still got all of my memories and recent playthroughs of the original Resident Evil 3, I don't know why I should go to the remake. I really don't know why. Resident Evil 3 is the GOAT of that franchise for me. I love it. It's awesome. Nemesis is a bad motherfucker. Love it. Absolutely love it. So that is the number 9. The number 9. Okay. So, earlier in the list, I had GTA San Andreas. I had that at number 11. But when this game came out that I'm about to talk about now, if you had told me that The Simpsons were going to make a game kind of based on GTA, the same sort of, mechanics and everything, like the way you nick over people's cars and stuff like that. If you told me that there'll be a Simpsons game that would be better than San Andreas, I wouldn't believe you. But when Simpsons Hit and Run came out, it was the most amazing thing ever. It was incredible. This was like just top tier. Like, as someone who's always loved like playing GTA, like, to have The Simpsons do that sort of thing, like doing quests and having a map similar to like GTA's and stealing cars and everything, buying cars, all that sort of stuff, as well as all of the humor inside it. It was just the best, because I've been a huge lover of The Simpsons, like, especially when I was younger. I just used to watch The Simpsons every day, pretty much. And to have the video game of it, like, it was incredible, because half the time, like, whenever you get, like, a cartoon or something of a TV show or whatever, like put into a video game, it doesn't really turn out all that great. Like, some of them are okay, but not a lot of them are great. And something about Simpsons Hit and Run just absolutely smashes all them expectations. Like, it's incredible. Like, it just runs perfect. It generally visually still holds up. It's aged incredibly well. It's over 20 years old, which is mad to think now. It's absolutely mad, but it's such a good game. It's so good. I love The Simpsons Hit and Run. Like, the humor and all the little bits of dialogue that happen in the game still make me laugh. They still make me chuckle all of the time. And I could replay Hit and Run over and over and over again and not get bored. I love it. I absolutely love Simpsons Hit and Run. And I've seen that there's been like someone remaking it, like, which, like, it's cool. It looks really, really cool what they've done. I don't even think it needs remaking. Like, even if they just like made it a HD remaster and barely changed anything, like don't even have to change the graphics, just upscale it to like 4K or whatever. It'll sell big time. It'll absolutely sell. I'd buy the heck out of that. But yeah, it's awesome. And it's a shame, really, because the only way you can play Simpsons Hit and Run these days is on a PlayStation or an Xbox. Like, just the physical games. Or on GameCube as well, to be fair. It is on GameCube. That is the only way you can play those games, unfortunately. There's no port or anything like that. There's no... You might be able to play it on PC, but I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. But it's just absolutely wicked. Simpsons Hit and Run. It's amazing to have all that amazing humour. Just completely tone it down from like a GTA, but make it similar in gameplay. Like, it's just fun. It's just absolutely hours of fun. And I'd play it any day of the week. Like, I'd happily go back to it again and again and again. It's just so fun. And like, do you know anybody who doesn't like Simpsons Hit and Run? I don't think so. I've not spoke to one person who's turned around and said, it's not a good game, Simpsons Hit and Run. If they do, I'm just going to assume they're a bit weird. But yeah, Simpsons Hit and Run is my number 8. And I'm going to give you a good one here. This game continues to spook the living shit out of me. No matter when I replay it, because I've replayed this game a few times in my life. And it comes from a franchise that is genuinely just spooky throughout. Apart from the last few games I brought out. Last few games were shite. But Silent Hill 2 has aged dramatically well. Silent Hill 2 is amazing. For me, one of the best horror titles going in video game history for me. One of the best. Just incredible. and I've played this game 20 years later on stream, and I've been shitting myself playing it. It's incredible. Like, for me, Resident Evil is awesome, obviously. Like, it paved the way for survival horror for video games like that. But for me, Silent Hill brought a real sense of dread. Like, the longer the note, the longer the more dread. It's a bit of a peep show reference for you there. Like, it just really brought a sense of dread and just dankness and darkness. Like, just something really, really, really claustrophobic. Like, having to, like, walk around, like, an abandoned hospital with just your flashlight and not knowing what's around the corner and all this really disturbing imagery and everything. For me, Silent Hill 2 does it the best. I think it's just got the strongest story out of a lot of them. Like, it just looks absolutely stunning. Gameplay is great. And there's going to be a remake at some point. And there's no release date for it or anything like that. There's absolutely no release date, which is, unfortunate at the moment. But, when it's done, it'll be done. But I hope the remake really, really lives up to it. Because, for me, Silent Hill 2 is just horrifying and brilliant. And some really, really disturbing looking monsters in there. Obviously, you've got Pyramid Head, like really, really iconic boss character. And Silent Hill itself is just a really foggy, deserted, like, mess of a place. And you meet some weird characters along the way that just make this whole world that you're exploring just really, really uncomfortable in ways. For me, just one of the greatest. I love Silent Hill 1. It's a fucking great PlayStation 1 game. Silent Hill 3 had to really live up to follow 2, but I still like 3. 4 is awesome. That one's a really, really disturbing one, but I love 4. For me, 2 is just awesome. It's incredible. Like, it's aged really, really well. There's some HD remasters and stuff for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I don't know whether they're available in Game Pass or anything like that. I think they are. I hope they are. But yeah, Silent Hill 2 is amazing. It's absolutely awesome. So that is the number 7. Number 6. Number 6 is actually a game that I played and finished quite recently. I mean, very, very recently. So recent that it just dropped itself in here in its number 6 spot. And I've not played any other game from this huge franchise, one of the biggest game franchises ever. I'm talking about Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy VII has landed right in the number 6 for me. So, this is the OG Final Fantasy VII, by the way. I first played OG Final Fantasy VII years ago, like when I was younger. I sort of put it in the PlayStation. It's a free disc game, and obviously there's no like audio dialogue. It's all like text. So back then I just skipped through all the text like dialogue, I guess, and just wanted to get on with the fight. And I don't think I even got past the first disc, but I thought I'd give it a proper go. And earlier this year, started off Final Fantasy VII, really got my hooks in, really, really hooked myself into the story, read all the dialogue, really, really built my characters up towards any of the bosses and stuff, and just what an incredible game. Like, even this game from, I believe it's 1997, it's either 97 or that year, to just like nearly 20 years, well, 25 years later, like just completely have my jaw on the floor. Like, the story itself is an absolute masterpiece. The characters are all incredible. Like, I love the character development in this. Sephiroth is a horrible motherfucker, and like really, really shows throughout this game. One thing about this game as well, though, the music is just absolute masterclass material. Some of the best music you'll ever hear in a game. And this is a game, you know, like really blocky, really polygony. The music's like really MIDI, like orchestrated that way. But the music's amazing. The music is absolutely incredible. I love it. Like, it's so memorable. And I go back to like the orchestrated reruns of them and all that on YouTube. Like, they're absolutely incredible. And this game took me a long time to beat. Like, it took me about 40 hours, like, on streaming it on Twitch. So it took me a fair while to finish it. But like, the end result was just something incredible. 3 discs of just pure enjoyment throughout. Like, there wasn't a point in the game where it dipped, considering how long it is. Like, I just loved every second of it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I know a few people have told me to go for the remake, and I will definitely. I'm definitely gonna play the remake. But the OG, like, it was just an absolute pleasure to play all the way through. Like, just really cool battle sequences, really cool characters, the way the story built itself and just like flowed was just something amazing, and the ending was just like jaw-droppingly good. Like, by the end, I was just like blown away by this game. It's incredible. Final Fantasy VII. So awesome. Final Fantasy VII. If you haven't played it yet, set some time aside for yourself and play it. Because believe me, I know I've got the remake to play, but I will definitely play the OG again, without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. Alright, now we are at the top 5. The top 5 of the top 20 video games of all time. We're nearly at the end, folks. We're nearly at the end. We're nearly there. We're nearly at the number 1 spot, and talking about all other people's top 3s. So here we go. My number 5 is a game that I think is incredibly underrated. A game that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. I think it's got like a really cool, dedicated, like hardcore fan base. There's only one game of it that's been made of it. There's no franchise or anything. But for me, it's really unique. Grim Fandango. This is a game I played years ago when I was little on the PC when it first came out, and it had a fantastic remaster come available. I think around about 2013 or 2014. I believe 2014 it got a remaster. It came out again for the PC, and then it reached the Nintendo Switch and Xbox and PlayStation and the Vita as well. And it's really, really unique. You do not get any other game like this. Like, to play it as a skeleton, a Grim Reaper, if you will, who that is set in, like, you know, Day of the Dead, like Mexican, Spanish sort of setting, and to get good clients that have died to go in the afterlife, but all your clients get stolen from you, and then you have to find the woman of your dreams who was also lost, and meet some really incredible and funny characters. The humor in this game is fantastic. It's awesome. It's a very, very puzzle oriented game as well. Quite hard. It's quite hard to get the puzzles right. There was a couple of times, even on my third playthrough, why I had to go through a walkthrough just to go back into it. I streamed it, and I believe it was last year I streamed the game, and like whoever like popped in the chat were just like, "What is this game? Like, this game is just really, really cool." Like, a lot of people who tuned in just like loved the humor and like, all the characters and everything. It's just really well scripted, and the remaster is definitely the best way to play it. And in fact, I think it's the only way to play it. Like, you know, the OG, it's fine. But, you know, it's very pixelated, whereas like the remaster, it just looks a lot better. and like all the music's been re-recorded as well and orchestrated. It's just awesome. It would be something I'd love to see as a movie. I think they'd make an amazing movie out of Grim Fandango. It's just got a really, really, really awesome sense of humor. It is like playing a movie, basically. And yeah, I recommend everyone to play Grim Fandango all the time because it's just something really different. You know, even the game from, I believe this is late 90s as well. It's aged really, really well. I could replay this game over and over and over again. And yeah, Grim Fandango, it's incredible. My number 4. My number 4 is actually another recent addition. Because and it's a game that's come out this year as well. Definitely. And what I will say, I'm not overly familiar with the Zelda franchise. I've played a very, very tiny bit of Ocarina of Time when it came out. Well, and but didn't properly get into it because I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I used my uncle's. And Breath of the Wild, I played that when I got the Switch because everyone said play Breath of the Wild. I did. Loved it. One of my favourite games ever. And I played a little bit of Link to the Past. And throughout playing Breath of the Wild, I thought, how are they going to make a Zelda better than this? Tears of the Kingdom is your answer. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, my number 4. It's how you do it. I won't go on about it too much because I mentioned it in the previous podcast episode. Because I finished it and I went on about how good it is and everything. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about it now at the moment. And we're coming up to the end of the year, like Game Awards and all that. It's bound to win Game of the Year from a lot of places. Tears of the Kingdom is just wonderful. It's an incredible story and looks stunning throughout. Amazing music. And I just have the time of my life playing this game. Just really not rushing through it. Taking my time, doing the odd side quest here and there. I still do it. I still play it every now and then just to get some side quests done. Like, it's a stunning game. And all the new mechanics that they've brought into it, like that replaced some of the ones in Breath of the Wild, just made it better and just made it really, really creative. I love Breath of the Wild, but for me, Tears of the Kingdom is just an absolute triumph. It's just one of the greatest games ever. I love it's just made me want to start playing more Zelda games. And I should start that, really. I really need to start doing Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and all that sort of stuff. Wind Waker. So yeah, that's all I'll say about Tears of the Kingdom. What hasn't been said that's already been said. You know what I mean? Okay, my final 3. Here we go. So, I don't know if actually, I have talked about this one a lot. I have talked a lot about Red Dead Redemption recently because of its port. That's come to the Switch and PlayStation 4 and all that sort of stuff and Xbox. Basically, I love Red Dead Redemption. One of the greatest games of all time. But for me, Red Dead Redemption 2 is just, for me, the greatest game Rockstar have ever made. And I've not really mentioned Red Dead 2 on the podcast before. I don't think I have. But I have mentioned the first one because, you know, like I said, it's a recent port over the Switch. I've been playing it and everything, and I absolutely love it. But for me, Red Dead Redemption 2 it's weird because even though I think Red Dead Redemption is aged really well, I think Red Dead 2 makes it look dated the way it is. Like, it is stunning. It's absolutely stunning for a kickoff, and the amount of things you can do, all the different side quests and all the other beasts you can hunt, everything. Like, they've just expanded it beyond expectations and put in a hell of a story. I love that you can travel with a camp and just, like, there's mad things that go on, like your appearance changes and all that, like your hair grows like on your face and you have to shave it. You have to keep on top of stuff like that. It's just mad. It's just insane. Like, hell of a story. Incredible. Like, even like some of the bad guys. I like Dutch. I really, really like Dutch. Even though he's an evil bastard. I like him. I really, really like him a lot. And Red Dead 2, I think, is just the most perfect cowboy shoot 'em up game ever. And, you know, the best thing Rockstar have ever put out, in my opinion. Red Dead 2 is a masterpiece. And it's very emotional. It's very, very incredible. I absolutely love it. I'm dying to replay that, actually. I think once I finish the part, I'm going to replay Red Dead 2 again. Just to keep it fresh in my mind. And, yeah. It's amazing. So, number two. And there is a reason why I've picked the rule of only one game per franchise, because there would have been multiple picks from this franchise. And it's a franchise that I go on all the time. I did a whole marathon on this franchise on my Twitch. I played every single one of these games in the franchise. And the best one, my favourite from the Metal Gear Solid franchise, is the OG Metal Gear Solid. Definitely. I love the majority of the Metal Gear Solid stuff. I'm a massive fan. I've got a collection. Like, I've got the Master Collection. You know, I've got literally everything. All of the Game Boy games, all the PlayStation 2 games, Xbox games, everything. I'm missing a couple of the SNES game, the NES games and stuff like that. But that's about it. But Metal Gear Solid is just the best. It's one of the best franchises ever. And I must have replayed Metal Gear Solid 1 more than any other game in my life. Definitely. I've replayed 2 quite a lot. Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, is a second of the best one. Metal Gear Solid 4 is just batshit mental. It's an incredible game. Peace Walker, underrated. The Acid games are a bit hit and miss. Portable Ops, naff. Peace Walker is an underrated, brilliant game. It's unfortunate how it ended for me. I did not like Phantom Pain. I really didn't like it. I was really disappointed when that came out. But Metal Gear Solid, the OG Metal Gear Solid, is for me one of the greatest gaming achievements of all time. It really is. Like, when I first picked up this game back in the day, I was just blown away by how cinematic it was. For back then, like, all of the camera angles were perfect. All the voice acting was perfect. David Hayter's voice and Snake. You couldn't think of a cooler character back then. You really, really couldn't. Like, you know, I was about 10, 11, 12, something like that when I first started playing this game. And I just loved it. Like, the dramatic music throughout as well. Like, for me, the most iconic music ever written for any game. And, you know, whether you're fighting Psycho Mantis or fighting against Metal Gear Rex or Sniper Wolf, all the Hind battles and everything, or just like walking through, you know, like the base, like your battles, like when you get caught, like dun 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 dun. The startup screen, everything. Oh god, it's just, that soundtrack is just absolutely to die for. If there was ever like an orchestra touring that soundtrack, I'd fucking get front row tickets for that. It's just incredible. It's incredible. Like, for me, the best video game soundtrack to ever come out. Metal Gear Solid, though, as a game, as a story, full of twists and turns, just brilliant, very intense. Like, for me, I think it's aged like a fine fucking wine. Metal Gear Solid is a masterpiece. It's incredible. Loads of memorable characters. Obviously, I've mentioned Solid Snake. You got E. Campbell. You got Otacon. You got Grey Fox, who's a cyborg ninja. One of the coolest looking baddies out there. Just incredible. Like, the Metal Gear Rex itself just looks wicked. And just everything about it. Just everything about this game is perfection to me. Just one of the greatest games ever. Like, someone would give, like, even though I've played this game probably about, and I reckon I've replayed this game about 20 times. No exaggeration. I think I have. And if I was just sat there and you went up to me and gave me a PlayStation 1 and Metal Gear Solid and you just went, play that, I'd be like, okay. Then I'd finish it. Then I'd fucking finish it because it's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I love Metal Gear Solid. And, yeah. It was very, very close to being my number one. I'm telling you. It was very, very, very close to being my number one. Metal Gear Solid is just perfect. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. But there has to be space for a number one. And my number one, for a long time, was Metal Gear Solid. It was for a long time. It was Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid used to be my favourite game of all time. Until I was met with a game that is, let's be honest, highly revered as one of the greatest games of all time. A lot of people say it's a 10, rightfully so. And it might be a bit of a basic answer, but The Last of Us is just one of the greatest games of all time. For me, the greatest game of all time. When I first started The Last of Us, I was told by a lot of people, you're in for a hell of a ride. You're in for something truly special. And, like, my first, like, interaction with that prologue, when, I won't spoil it, but when it happens at the very beginning of that game, tears down my face. Genuine tears. And I was just like, fucking hell, I'm in for something special here. I'm in for something special. And The Last of Us really did have my jaw on the floor, to the point when I finished the game, I replayed it again straight away. I never do that with any other game. I played it straight away. And this is a game that is just like a movie. I mean, obviously so good that HBO have made a TV series of it, which is pretty, like, I'd say 90% true to the game. Like, they didn't have to do a lot because the game itself is already incredible. And, you know, it's just a masterpiece. Very, very well voice acted. I've always loved the character development between Joel and Ellie. Like, it's really, really emotional, and, like, you can actually tell, like, the emotion coming from the voice acting and everything. Like, for me, one of the most emotional stories the game's ever had. It's still absolutely stunning today. Even if you're just playing the OG from the PlayStation 3, like, not even the remaster, still looks incredible. It still looks absolutely amazing. I mean, what can be said about The Last of Us that hasn't already been said? For me, it's took survival horror to a really stunning and emotive story. Like, I think that's what it's done more than Silent Hill, Resident Evil, or any other horror type video game franchise. It's made an incredible story out of it. Like, the biggest and best, and just most emotional as well. I've played this game God knows many times. I've never been bored of the story. I love how I just love how the level design is as well. Like the whole world that you're in, like it's just so recognizable, so colorful, so beautiful, even with all that evil sort of the what coral? Nah, it's not coral. Like fungus everywhere. Like it's such a unique way to bring up infected rather than like coming up with a zombie game and just saying like, oh, they've been infected by some biolab. Instead, it's like this sort of fungus, like they're sort of one with the earth, and they're able to communicate through the earth and just like kill people. It's amazing. Like this game for me, like I feel like it's basic. It's a basic pick because I know a lot of people love this game. Like it's one of the reasons the PlayStation 3 ended up beating the Xbox 360, like in terms of sales, because The Last of Us came out, and a lot of people just went, "I need to get a PlayStation 3 and play this game," and it happened. So, yeah, Last of Us is just incredible. So good they made a HBO series of it, which has turned out really awesome as well. I've got to say, and fucking hell, the ending just left me like, I mean, I'm obviously not going to spoil it, but the ending just had me like, oh my god, no, it can't end here. It cannot end here. It wasn't so much of a cliffhanger. It was just more like, I did not want it to end at all. I did not want it to end. I wanted to play more of this game. And I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. And you know what as well? I love part 2 as well. I absolutely love part 2. Like, if I was picking more than one game per franchise, I'd have part 2 at number 2 in my list. Part 2 is incredible. It's an amazing game, an amazing story. I think the reason why I've went with the first one because I just love playing as Joel. Just love playing as him, and it's just a little bit shorter. I think that is just about it. And I think The Last of Us Part 2 is a little bit harder to come back to, just of how bleak it really can be. Like, it can get really dark and really bleak. But The Last of Us Part 1 even. Like, you know, that can get bleak at times as well. But, like, it's just one of the best. It's just, I don't know what more I can say about The Last of Us, really. A lot has been said about that game. Everybody loves it. And, yeah, it's my favourite game ever. It's my favourite game ever. So, that is my top 20 video games of all time. That is it. I'm going to list them all again. So, God of War Ragnarok at number 20. Red Alert, number 19. Tony Hawk's Underground at 18. Abe's Odyssey at 17. Elden Ring at 16. Gears of War 3 at 15. Pokemon Sapphire / Ruby / Emerald at 14. Rock Band at 13. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped at 12. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas at 11. Halo 3, number 10. Resident Evil 3 at number 9. The Simpsons Hit and Run at number 8. Silent Hill 2 at number 7. Final Fantasy 7 at 6. Grim Fandango at 5. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom 4. Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 3. Metal Gear Solid at number 2. And The Last of Us at number 1. There you go. That's my top 20 video games of all time. It's a bit of a long podcast, this one. It's gone over an hour. Yikes. But I have your favourite games here. Your top 3. And I'm going to read them out. So, like I've said before, if you want to get in touch with the podcast, Discord links in the description and all that. Same with Instagram and all that sort of stuff. So let's have a look. Where are we at? So 6 Health of Fury. His top 3. Number 3, Mech Warrior 4, which I've never played. Number 2, Resident Evil 6. Come on, bro. Really? Come on. And there's number 1, Legend of... I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Legaia. It's spelled Legaia. I don't know how to pronounce that. Never played that either. But awesome. Awesome picks for you. Good, sir. And let's see. Let's go to Instagram. I have them here. So this one comes from Glenn's Dimmer. I've taken all the vowels out of the username. GLNSKDMR. His top 3: Skyrim, GTA Vice City, and Final Fantasy X. Skyrim is brilliant, and GTA Vice City is brilliant. Final Fantasy X, I'm still yet to play. Never played it yet. Christopher Gill, his top 3, he said probs: Halo 3, The Last of Us, and Crash 3 Warped. All of them are in my list. Very, very good choices, sir. Haley, the fiance, she's put Tweety Pie from the Game Boy Color, Spyro the Dragon, number 1, from the PlayStation 1, and Pokemon Red, or Yellow, or Blue. Awesome picks. Awesome picks. Never played Tweety, though. Never played any of them. But yeah, awesome picks. And also over to Twitter/X, Argonaut has given us his top 3. And it's a bit of a JRPG type pick, really. He's gone for Skies of Arcadia, Chrono Trigger, and Persona 5 Royal. And yeah, there we go. That's the top 20 video games of all time, listed by me. Thank you very much, everyone, if you got this far. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that some of these picks have, made you want to play on one of them that you haven't played before. Maybe you've just heard me going about Grim Fandango and thought, I'm going to give that a go. But yeah, thank you for listening. This call's doing my head now. I'll have to go. Goodbye. See you.